account. The objective is to continuously keep you aware of all the different identity and financial fraud and how it impacts you, our dear customers. Please note that this session will be open for comments and live participation. So please feel free on all the comment sections you're in on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, to send us your relevant questions, okay? And also note that we'll be addressing only relevant questions to the topic, which is around securing your account, identity fraud, financial fraud. Any other complaints you have or queries will have to be addressed later, all right? So to begin, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Richard Unwago. I'm an Associate Vice President with the Information Security team, and I'll let my colleagues introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Amrut Sugan. I'm Vice President of Cybersecurity.
Hello, good afternoon all. I'm Dinesh. I'm from IT Security Risk.
Good, so we've all introduced ourselves, and so what are we going to discuss today? So, it's this critical issue we've been discussing since last year when we began this campaign. As you can remember, we launched with partnership with Dubai Police and our media partners, we launched the Secure Account, Protect Your Identity campaign, where we had the video, It Wasn't Me. As you remember, that video was widely accepted as a very informative video, educative video, and also very entertaining. So the campaign is aimed at ensuring that public awareness and education is being meted out to all of you as part of Emirates NBD's long-term commitment to make banking safer and easier for the UAE community. And as you're aware, we do this with our partners, Dubai Police, and every other part of the community that is involved with securing your account. So what we'll do right now is just play the video for those of us who are just joining, and just watch a clip of that video, It Wasn't Me, and we'll be right back.
Yo, man.
Hello?
Can you help me, man?
Sure. How can I help you?
My account just got wiped.
You must be joking.
I don't know how I let this happen.
By who?
Some guy pretending to be you, you know? Man, I don't know what to do.
It wasn't me.
Alright. A fellow email me, dear customer, there seems to be a payment issue. You need to send us your account number and we'll resolve it for you. How could I be so clumsy and click on the dubious link? All this time he was after my password and username.
How can you grant us later access to your data? Hackers and a frost is always lying in the waiter. You better watch your back, don't fall for the beta. Let's review the situation that you're caught up in. To be a safe player, you have to know how to play. If you say a moment, don't give them time of day. Never listen to a word when they say. And if they claim that they're the bank, tell them no way.
But he sent me a reminder.
It wasn't me.
Messaged me on WhatsApp.
It wasn't me.
He even called me in the shower.
It wasn't me.
He told me I won the lottery.
It wasn't me.
He asked me for my password.
It wasn't me.
To verify my account number.
It wasn't me.
I even sent him a picture.
It wasn't me.
He dreamed my account and it was over. A fellow emailed me, dear customer, there seems to be a payment issue. You need to send us your account number and we'll resolve it for you. How could I be so clumsy and click on that dubious link? All this time he was after my password and username.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Right, welcome back. And that was the Secure Your Account video, It Wasn't Me. I'm sure you enjoyed that and brought back memories from last year's campaign. But it's important that we note that on all the social media platforms that you're on right now, this is your session. It's Ask Emirates MBD Live. So please feel free to ask questions related to this topic, cybersecurity, fraud, and any other thing related to protecting your account. All right, so we'll begin with the very first question. I mean, this campaign has been running for a while now. Amrut, why do you think that it's important that we continue to harp on about our customers or the general public to secure their account and this initiative? What's your take on this?
So, you know, in this golden age of information and living in this interconnected world, right? And technology is central, it's key. And in this technology landscape, cybersecurity is more important than ever. We see it becoming a rapid, strategic pillar rapidly for organizations, not just here in the Middle East, but also globally. In the banking sector especially, because the money is there, cybersecurity is of critical importance.
So it's the biggest motivator where the money is kept.
Yeah.
That's what they think.
Exactly. And these days cybercrime is increasing. The numbers are staggering. Let me read out some numbers to you. The annual economic cost of cybercrime for the banking industry is estimated at $1 trillion. Not dirhams, dollars. Right? And in the recent past, it has gone up 40%. So earlier, the cost of cybercrime was, in 2014, was $13 million. And as recent as 2018, it has moved up to almost $18 million, right? And it's not just about the money, right? So for the organization, it's not just the cost of cybercrime, it's also customers losing trust in that organization.
Right. Yeah.
And with this digital banking, digital era, it's becoming even more a priority. And while banks, organizations invest heavily in the latest technologies to improve their defenses, I think the biggest vulnerability is the customer himself, right? So if the customers are aware, it helps the organization and also helps the customer. So which is why we are having this session, right? All this.
But who are these malicious actors? And these figures you're calling trillions actually, and estimated to grow even to zillions, I don't know. Who are these actors? Who are we looking at protecting ourselves against today?
So anybody wanting to make easy money, right? So we know humans are vulnerable. We know humans love to put stuff out there. And attackers use this information to get into not just now your PCs, which they used to do earlier just to find out your photographs and stuff. Now they want to get into your banking accounts. They want to make money out of it, right? Because for them, they have to make a living. So these are normal people who want to make easy money.
Yeah.
Just to add on to it, right? I mean, what he mentioned, the economic size, right? I mean, it's a huge industry itself, right? I mean, which is actually just doing this. They are targeting customers, institutions, just to make money in an unauthorized or unethical manner.
Yep.
So this is a complete industry that's running, right? I mean, we don't know about it, but it's a full-fledged industry that is running underground.
Is this where we talk about dark web, dark internet?
Exactly. And, for what we know that, okay, these are playing underground, even nation states, they are also involved into it, right? I mean, it's just another way of making money and booming the economy.
Yeah. So with that being said, what's your take? What has the bank done to ensure that the customer, people watching out there, are protected? What are the kind of things we've done? I know we discussed this a year ago, but what are the things that we've done and we continuously do to protect our customers?
So apart from doing awareness, making sure people are aware of the risks, the threats out there, we have committed a major portion of our digital transformation investment towards strengthening our infrastructure, our back-end processes, making sure we have analytics in place. We have created programs, products, and policies to make sure that our customers have increased protection when they are doing digital banking with us.
Can you give me an example of some of this strengthening that we've done the last couple of years or last couple of months for our digital channels?
So just to add on to what Amrut mentioned, right? I mean, we are heavily investing on strengthening our systems. One of the examples that we recently launched out is the Smart Pass, right? It is a way to digitally authorize a transaction in a secure manner and in convenient manner without actually relying on SMS OTPs, which used to be our main second factor authentication earlier. So these kind of initiatives are run by the bank, wherein we are trying to enhance our capabilities on the applications and the websites that we have, online banking applications that we are having. As well, we are enhancing the process, how we identify customers, how we enroll them on our applications. We are improving our processes, how we give an access to our customers. For example, right, I mean, how do they enroll for a smart pass? We want to make sure that it's the customer who is actually enrolling for it.
Yep.
So we have invested in the technologies to identify and take all measures from a process as well as from technology point of view to ensure that we give a secure access to our customers.
Yeah. What you mentioned smart pass here.
Yeah.
Someone could argue, or someone watching could argue, I already have my phone and
Yep.
it's getting my SMS OTP. Why can't I use that? What advantages do I get
Yep.
from cybersecurity point of view to move away from OTP to
Yep.
smart pass?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we all know, I mean, especially in UAE, SIM swap frauds has been like, it's in wild. I mean, all the banks in the region have lost due to SIM swaps.
Yeah.
Fraudster, they would go to, telecom provider and get targeted, I mean, get a SIM for the targeted customer that they wanted to target.
Yeah.
So it was very easy for them to just, get a new SIM
Yeah.
and start receiving OTPs on their own
the
phone.
old phone.
Now with the smart pass, we have removed this reliance, so it's going to address the SIM swap frauds in the industry, and we have seen, I mean, we have not seen any SIM swap fraud majorly after we have implemented smart pass.
So if you're not on smart pass yet, I believe most of our customers are, this is an opportunity to move to smart pass. You have the added benefits of security, and also it's very easy to use. It's seamless for all your transactions.
Yep.
All right, before we go to the next question, we have a question from Bassam Bita on LinkedIn. What are the top cyber risks that private sectors face? Well, we're in the banking industry, so we're private as well. So do you want to take on that? Top cyber risks?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe
it's-
top three?
I think it's basic hygiene, right? So from a private sector point of view also, you use machines. Everybody uses machines to do digital banking, to work on digital stuff. Everything is getting digital, right? Earlier we used to have papers. I used to sign papers, type documents. Now all that happens on a machine. Make sure that those machines that we use are safe enough, secure enough by following basic hygiene, antivirus. Make sure no administrator accounts on your machines. The emails are not just circulated to anybody and everybody. You keep control on that. For example, I hate doing that, but there's no other way out. When you want to renew your visa, what do? You go to a typing center, right? And you give them your Emirates ID, you give them your passport copy, you give them all these documents to their ID, and they want you to send it on their Gmail, Hotmail, whatnot, right? Who's securing those? Do you think they even follow basic hygiene? So imagine now from a banking perspective, we take care of all these documents to make sure it doesn't get out of our infrastructure.
Yeah. Because that's the leading cause of identity theft.
Exactly. This is how you would steal somebody's identity and go register for a SIM and then get those OTPs in, right? So the other thing is emails. So we have seen this happening. We get an email from one of the customers whom we deal with, right? A private entity whom we deal with, that, from tomorrow my banking account has changed from X to Y, so all the transfer of funds should happen to Y.
Yeah.
And that email was not sent by the private entity, or might have been, because they have been compromised.
Yeah.
Now,
so it's either his email has been compromised, somebody is sending on his behalf, or it's not even from his email, it just looks like his email.
It's called a spoofed email, right? It makes it's made to look like it's come from that private entity.
Yeah.
So, of course, we don't follow instructions sent via email.
Yeah.
It has to be done via a signed document,
Yeah.
which happens at a branch. But I'm just saying, imagine now this was between two private sector companies.
Yeah.
Somebody would just do it, right? And they would just change the account numbers, and now the money is going into the fraudster's account.
Yeah.
So, basic hygiene, antivirus, make sure you don't use administrative privileges, reduce the type of softwares that you install on your machine, and basically email. Make sure that your emails are secure, you don't give out your passwords anywhere, and use multi-factor authentication for them.
But so what you just described is, maybe Dinesh, you could come in here. What you just described is what is typically called business email compromise, right? Probably accounts for more than 60% of the 1 trillion that you mentioned earlier. How does an organization, for instance, let's use the first scenario whereby the other party's email has been compromised without the party knowing, so it's actually the real email at whatever.com. What steps can organizations take to ensure that they do not fall victim of those kind of attacks and the risk that it exposes them to?
Yeah, I mean, these are common attacks, right? I mean, all the fraudsters, they try these tricks with their customers, and they would send a TT transaction request to the banks, obviously through emails. So we as a bank have taken measures, right? I mean, we don't really accept any requests for transfer funds through emails.
Yep.
And even if we have in certain cases, right, I mean, we do have a validation process, we do have callback processes in place and other operational controls to identify whether these, so that, I mean, we can stop these kind of a fraud happening with our customers.
Yeah.
So there are length of operational controls that we have in place to secure our customers.
Yeah. So it's fair to say for sensitive requests like that, whether you're an organization, a small business, or business owner, you should have other controls in place to do some checks.
Yep.
If somebody is saying, this is my new account, you can either have a phone call or something else that allows that person to validate or authenticate that request.
It's called out-of-band validation.
Out of band.
Yeah.
Out of band validation.
So you don't do it, you don't confirm via
Don't
that same
confirm
email.
with the same email.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
the person
yeah.
just going to reply back and say.
So you call through another channel like a phone or WhatsApp or SMS?
We would, in many cases, we would ask them to visit the branch. We would have a EDA validation in place, and various other controls are there. Out-of-band call is there to make sure that it's right.
Yeah.
But obviously, as we touch upon the SIM swap frauds, right? I mean, it might be possible that we are calling onto the same number, which fraudster has already compromised. But as I said, right? I mean, there are various other controls that we have in place to counter these kind of attack scenarios.
Okay. So we just spoke about some attack scenarios. Are there, in the last couple of months, or months or years, are there any new attack vectors or attack mechanisms that you've seen being adopted by criminals to commit identity fraud or finance frauds, either digitally or otherwise?
Yeah. In fact, yes, there are a couple. So apart from these email spoofing and whatnot, we've spoken about this before. Now there's this wishing, it's called voice phishing. So it's called wishing. We are creative people, right? So wishing is basically, for attackers, it's to compromise somebody. It's not very easy. It's not like the movies where they show, I type 5 commands and then boom,
you're
in your machine. It's not that simple. So there's a wide array of different attacks that need to be tried to possibly compromise somebody. So what attackers do now to make sure that they are successful, they call the victim. I'm from help desk. I want to help you out. I think your machine seems to be compromised, and it could be they could be spoofing. They could be saying, I'm calling from the bank also, for that matter. And then they ask you, what? Can you tell me what operating system you're using? So somebody would be like, so what does the operating system mean? Right? So I don't care if I give this information out. How does it matter? Oh yeah, I'm using Windows. And then, so what is the antivirus you're using? Oh, I'm using Bitdefender. Right? So people give out this information. Now what they don't realize is this small piece of information is actually enabling the attacker to make sure he's 100% successful in compromising you.
Yep.
Because all softwares do have some sort of vulnerability. And now to exploit that particular vulnerability, I need to know which one it is. Now I've found out.
Yeah.
Recently there was this other one. Magic pens. So magic pens, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Pen.
So I come to you, I say, I need this check from you, and then I give you my pen, and then you would of course nobody is stupid enough not to give a cross check, right? So you would cross the check, give it for that particular person, entity, and then you would put the amount, you would put your signature and give it to them. Now there are 2 types of magic pens. One, where that actual ink, so it's ink pen. You can rub it off just like a pencil.
I can remember back in school, we had something like that we used to play with.
Yeah. The other one is, it's actually an ink pen, where the ink magically disappears after 2 hours, right?
Oh.
And I have some pictures to show you. Let me
Sounds like
switch to
something
the-
you see in Frozen.
Yeah. let me show you some pictures on the
Magic.
machine, right? This is the one where the ink is erasable. So as you can see, it's actually a ink pen, where you can erase what you have already written. And this is the other one. I don't know if it's clear enough. Let me zoom in. There you go. So there's the before, where you're writing something, and after 2 hours, vanished. So you know, these fraudsters are smart. They actually go back and make sure that the signature on the check is not disappearing.
Yeah.
And only the written text is gone, your cross check is gone, and now they can make it to cash and go cash themselves and have a party.
Since you mentioned this check thing, right? I mean, with 2020, right? I mean, there are more frauds actually happening on the checks, right? I mean, typically we are used to writing DD, MM, YY,
yeah.
right? Now, what's the trick with 2020 is, if you write just 20, right, as a YY, fraudster actually can change it and make it as YYY 2019 and produce a check, or may change to 2021, right?
Post-dated
So
or pre-dated.
yeah.
It could become that.
So I think it's very important for all of our customers, when they are writing checks in 2020, they make this habit of writing year in YYY, in 4 Ys.
4 Ys.
Yeah.
DD, MM, YYY.
YYY.
So you don't have, your check is not exposed to that vulnerability. But speaking of Magic Pen that you touched on, what ways can customers prevent themselves? I know most times you're either with a trusted party giving that check, but what if it's not that type of scenario? What are the things that one should look out for? Definitely holding your own pen. But
There you go, right? You just said it. Carry your own pen. I mean, or don't borrow it from the person whom you're writing the check for. Typically, see, banks keep one pen on the counter, so that and we make sure that's not a magic pen. but don't just take a pen from somebody and then start writing. Actually, we have a smart demo for you coming up very soon, wherein we'll show you some real scenarios where if you borrow something from somebody, how it can be used against you. But in this magic pen case, I think just carry your own pen, right?
Yeah, that's a
As
basic
simple as that.
hygiene.
Yeah. So if you're still with us, this is Ask Emirates MBD Live, and if you just joined us, we're talking about secure your account and also protecting yourself from identity and financial frauds. Please keep your questions coming in the comment sections of our pages on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram Live, and so on and so forth. We have a question from LinkedIn from Anavav. I think Dinesh, you'll answer this because you spoke about SmartPass.
Yep.
What is your advice on SmartPass for someone who's been overseas for a while and does not have a valid UAE number?
Yep. So that's exactly these kind of scenarios were there. Apart from the frauds that were happening with the SIM, I mean, this was one of the reasons that we wanted to make sure that we have some substitute of a SIM. So what was happening with the SIM frauds were, I mean, they were targeting customers who were actually traveling abroad.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you are traveling abroad, you will switch off your SIM, and these fraudsters, they will reach out to these telecom providers and get a new SIM issued for yourself, and abuse it. So as a customer, you never know what happened to you because you're not receiving notifications and all those stuff. Now for SmartPass, I mean, you don't have a reliance on a SMS OTP. You are actually, even if you are abroad or anywhere, as long as you have internet access, in many cases, you can even generate an offline OTP on a SmartPass app itself, which you can use to enter or authenticate on your web browser.
Yeah.
Or otherwise, if a mobile app internet you have access, you can authorize all your transactions using SmartPass.
Yeah.
By the way, I mean, for the mobile number, I mean, obviously, if somebody wants to register SmartPass, there's a whole process wherein obviously you need first SMS registration or SMS to come onto your number.
That first SMS, that registration
that first
SMS.
SMS.
Can that be a non-UAE number?
Yes, we have our customers who have their numbers, international numbers, and we support sending this SMS on our international number as well.
And to add on to that, right, the best part is now say you already have a SmartPass because you had that OTP at that time sent to you and you registered SmartPass. Now say you traveled and somebody did a SIM swap on you and now they have your SIM. they can't register SmartPass again. So
Yep.
customers would think, right? Oh, OTP came, now he can also register the
No.
fraudster.
Yep.
They can't put SmartPass for the same account on a different device.
Yeah.
Yep.
It has to be deregistered from your device.
Own device.
So while
Which
you're
only
traveling,
you can do.
exactly. So while you're traveling, you can be rest assured that nobody else can register a SmartPass even though they have done a SIM swap on you.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right, so we'll go to another question here. It says, what other general tips can you give to consumers online as they protect themselves online? What other general tips?
Like, I mean, I will take an example of, right, how do you handle your keys for your house or for your safe locker or for that matter for your car? If someone just walks in and asks for the keys of your house and say that, okay, probably I'll clean up your house for free, would you trust him, right?
I would.
Really?
I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the mindset that we have to have for our banking credentials, right? The user ID passwords, the debit card information, the PIN, all of this information is your key to your banking account. So we need to take a caution and precautions to ensure that nobody else take it, I mean, whom you don't trust.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. I mean, bank will never ask you for your banking credentials
We
like
have all
user
those
ID password.
billboards. The bank will never ask.
Yeah.
Fraudsters will.
What's it mean?
Exactly, right. Nobody from bank will ever call you and say, okay, we want to verify account, what is the user ID and password or your secret question or what is your debit card PIN. Never. That will never happen, right?
Which brings me to one question though. We've seen emails that have been sent to customers
Yep.
purportedly from the bank that says maybe we've just seen a transaction on your account or you've not updated your
Yep.
Emirates ID and things like that.
Yeah.
It instills fear in the customer, especially a customer who probably has not really updated his Emirates ID.
Yep.
What is the precautionary measure you think the customer should take first when such information is looking like it's now coming from the bank? Because here we say the bank will never ask
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
But in that moment of fear,
Yeah.
it actually looks like the bank is asking him because he has not done his update on his ID.
Yep.
What do you think you should still do in those kind of situations?
So exactly right. I mean, bank would communicate with customers. I mean, we are communicating with our customers. We are sending SMSs, we are sending emails as well. So yeah, there would be situations wherein there is a legitimate communication from the bank for certain updates. But what we as a customer have to take a caution is we should give away with this habit of clicking on the URLs and updating all the information that URL probably ask, right? I mean, if there's a legitimate email, you just type in the URL. If there's a web URL where we need to update the information, type in for yourself, see whether it's actually a bank's website.
Because the body of the email could actually have Emirates MD, but as we've shown in previous sessions, you put the mouse or if you're on your phone, you hold, I think, long press it, it shows exactly where it's going.
Where it is going, where it is hitting, whether it's a legitimate bank website or not. So that's, I think, the one basic hygiene practice that we have to ensure or all our customers need to practice. Let's not just enter all the information whichever link asks for. Obviously, and even if this is a valid request from the bank, we have to ask ourselves, right, whatever information we are entering, am I supposed to enter this information, right? If there is an email which is ask you to enter your user ID, password, debit card information, debit card PIN, obviously, definitely it's not a bank email, it's a fraudster email.
No matter how Emirates MBD looking it looks, it's not. Always look out for the URL. And if you want to even be more secure, like Dinesh said, type the URL yourself. Go to Emirates MBD / whatever URL was given to you. And if that page doesn't have it, then you're definitely, someone is actually definitely trying
tricking
to
you.
The other simple thing is, even though it might be from a bank, right? Just let's assume it was from the bank. Just call the bank. We have a 24-hour number, right? Just call, find out, is this really you? Is my account really going to get blocked? And then the contact center agent whom you're talking to has a system in front of him and can tell you, yes, you know what, your account is going to, your details are really not updated. And yes, either yes, we have sent you such a communication or we have not.
We have not.
Right? So pick up the phone.
And that's it. Don't be hasty, especially when you're in that moment of fear, curiosity, or whatever emotion that you get when you see an email like that. Take precautions in doing that. Another question is how, what should we post on, what is safe to post on social media, and how do we control our privacy settings on social media?
Okay.
Privacy controls on our applications on social media as well. I'm sure he's talking about social media applications.
That's a very good question. So, again, basic hygiene. It's all about that, right? So, I know we are very social people. I mentioned that last time when we did the session. There is, we love communicating with other people, and we love sharing what we are doing, where we are, where we have gone, and we especially birthdays, right?
Yeah.
I want to at least a minimum 256 people to wish me on social media when it's my birthday. But you could possibly take precaution wherein you give only your date of birth and month, so people will know when it's your birthday, rather than giving the year.
That's visible for everybody.
Absolutely right, but don't put your year of birth. People know maths; they can calculate what year it is.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, month, date, people wish you, right? Apart from that, you know what? This is my cat. This is my cat's name, and then don't use that same cat's name for your secret questions in your bank or somewhere else, or for your Hotmail and Gmail password reset, right? So, as little information that you give, the better it is for you. There is also, making sure that you have multi-factor authentication configured. Multi-factor is basically, apart from your password, you also put
Some other factor.
some other second factor, and Gmail, Hotmail, Facebook, all these sites, LinkedIn, all these sites support it.
Yep.
Because it is meant to further secure your account. You might have kept a very good password, but somebody could be sitting on your PC key logging it, but that second factor is somewhere else,
Yep.
and that can help you protect yourself. There's also this privacy settings, right?
Privacy settings.
So there is Facebook and all these LinkedIns, they have now privacy settings. Google, why have they given privacy settings? To make sure that the information, even though it's out there, there's only a limited amount of people who can view it.
Yeah.
So if you set your privacy settings on Facebook to only your friends, they will know your date of birth, month of birth and year of birth. But those guys who are just Googling you
Yep.
will not be able to see it. So these privacy settings are also very important. Coming to a mobile perspective, make sure that you when you install a new app especially, right? Even the existing apps, go into settings, go into apps. It could be iPhone, it could be Android, doesn't
This
matter.
applies
Both
to
of them
all,
have it. Go into settings, go into apps, go into permissions, deny everything, and use that app. Many a times the apps work without any permissions on.
Yeah.
If if the app really requires that permission, for example, you might be using Skype for Business, right? So it needs camera and mic only. Why would you give it phone access, SMS access, contacts access?
Yeah.
True.
It's not required. So disable those.
Yeah.
You must have seen this recent news about this communications app which got taken off the Play Store and the
In the
Google
UAE
Store.
here,
Yeah,
yeah.
in the UAE. And so some people say it was a spy app, whatnot. If you use proper app settings, trust me, it doesn't impact you much.
Yeah.
And it was taken off the Play Store, again brought back in after they modified the key settings required. But so the basic hygiene wherein you install, validate. Trust, but validate.
Yeah. Good. So that's a good one. But we have another question on passwords, right? When you mentioned multi-factor authentication. What are the best what kind of password protection or password practices should one be adopting today? Remember, we have so many different platforms, application. You have ride-hailing apps on your phone. You have social media on your phone. Your banking apps on your phone. Maybe 25 passwords minimum across this. So, what are the best practices that one can employ? Because password sharing is a no-no across these apps, right?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, I think everybody is aware what should be our password practices. Have a long password, not use a dictionary password, or not have your password which contains your family member's name or their date of birth, combination of these things. But I would actually focus, or I would suggest our customers, right? I mean, there are password managers these days. Given we all are using so many applications everywhere, we need to log in and authenticate ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, for all practical reasons, it's so difficult to memorize all of these passwords, right? I mean, we may say that okay, keep a separate password for each application, but then how do we manage all of that? That's certain task we all face. So these days, I mean, we have another app which is called a password manager, right? I mean, which actually manages all your password. It actually generates a password. You need not to even set some password. It actually generates a random complex password. And what all you need to remember is just one password, and even that also can be replaced with your fingerprint or biometric to access your phone.
Yeah, many apps
So
like this.
yeah, you set up a different random passwords which are generated by these password managers. This keeps your password secure and encrypted on the phone, and whenever you need to use it, you just check out your password manager and use these password on all the applications. So you are free from the worry of remembering or memorizing these passwords or keeping the weak passwords altogether, because when you have to memorize so many passwords, you will tend to keep weak passwords.
The same password, or maybe same password across your different
One thing that I would suggest, I mean, if you're not using a password manager, one thing is for sure, right? I mean, don't use the free ones, right? I mean, again, they are vulnerable, right? They may again be cheating you, but go for paid ones. There are a lot there in the market. The other thing that I would suggest, if you are still not using the password managers, even in your phone devices, like with iOS, you have a keychain capability wherein you can store your password.
How secure is that, though?
It's just pretty much secure. I mean, you can say it kind of equivalent to what password manager provides for capability.
Okay.
So as long as your phone is not cracked one or not jailbroken, I think it's pretty much safe. So you can even rely or use keychain of your iOS device to secure your passwords.
So are you saying that if I do have multi-factor authentication on all these platforms, I cannot be hacked?
So multi-factor is a good question, right? I mean, so let's get into more detail. What is multi-factor authentication, right? I mean, basically it's nothing. We are asking multiple factors or ways to authenticate customer or to authenticate anybody, right?
Yeah.
So the first factor is what you know. I mean,
like a password.
Yeah. So what you know is typically your user ID passwords, pins, or your debit card number.
Yeah.
The second factor is what you have, which is basically your debit card, could be a plastic, or SMS OTPs that you used to typically receive on a phone. So now, as I said, we have launched Smart Pass, which becomes your identity as a phone. So Smart Pass is only on one phone, that becomes your identity. So you have that phone. So this is a second factor. So we as a bank are relying on multiple factors to authenticate our customers so that they are not cheated. I'll give you an example of these factors, right? I mean, when you go to an ATM, right, what do you need to do? I mean, you need to have your debit card inserted, and which is second factor, and the first factor is the PIN, what you know. So imagine if you were just relying on only one factor, would you trust that somebody just enters the PIN and take out money from your account? Obviously not, right? So similarly, we have incorporated multiple factors in our online banking. So we have a user ID password required for the login, then we have secret questions as well. Then with the Smart Pass, we have a second factor, and wherever it's those customers who are still not on Smart Pass, they are still on OTP, which uses as a second factor.
Yeah. So you multi-factor does not mean you won't be hacked.
Yeah.
Which is not what we're saying, but we're saying that it does reduce to a great degree the chances that, or the likelihood that that will happen to you.
Yeah.
All right. Still on Smart Pass, since we have a lot of Smart Pass questions here. So Dolly Phillips on LinkedIn again says, so if you change into another phone, do we redo the Smart Pass, or a simple process will allow the download link to reset? Yes, well, I think you have to redo the process. What's the answer there?
Yeah, you have to. Yes, you have to redo the process.
You have to.
Like we said, it's only on one phone, and before it can go on another phone, you have to deregister from that previous phone and go through the same process again to make sure that it comes on the new phone. So yeah, that's been done to make sure that you are safe and we are able to protect you from yourself, right?
Yeah. Okay. Another question here is how do we protect ourselves when traveling? Protecting yourself when traveling. I guess we're talking about free Wi-Fi here and some of this. In fact, it's a good time to show a demo that we have.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely free Wi-Fi is a no-no, especially if you're using your phone to perform sensitive transactions or sensitive activities. As much as possible. I mean, when you get to a new country, you're always looking for Wi-Fi, first of all. But if it's free, there are chances that you could be using an attacker's hotspot. So as much as possible, limit that. But let's look at something here known as juice jacking.
Yeah, so, we typically tend to travel and then our charging cables and whatnot are kept in our other bag and then we've forgotten that. Or, you find somebody giving out some freebies somewhere, and we wanted to show you this demo. So as you can see, this particular thing, it's a normal USB, right? So you have a USB.
Where would somebody get a USB that's not theirs?
You could find it somewhere. I could keep this lying around.
And you see 128 GB. Oh, it's such a big.
Yeah, that's so cool, right? I have this beautiful little USB. It looks absolutely like a USB. I have this charging cable. As you can see, this is an iPhone charging
USB.
cable, right? It will do charging also, right? Now let's see what can happen. Let me plug these two on the machine and show you what can happen. So now I have taken the USB. I'm going to plug it into the machine. Let's see what happens. Okay, USB plugged in. Let's hang on for a second. There you go. Something started happening. Oh my God. You are being hacked. Trust me, I'm not typing this. This is happening. It's happening automatically, right? And this is happening because I plugged in that USB. In a real attack, you will not see this message. This message has been put in just for your awareness. In a real attack, this USB, once plugged in, would start running some real bad stuff in your machine.
Yeah.
And now you typing your passwords or going to Facebook
All
and
goes there.
your pictures on the machine, your emails, everything is compromised.
And it's undetected too.
Yeah,
So,
it cannot be detected just like that.
Yeah. You may have, definitely you shouldn't plug in any USB sticks in your computers, but you may have an antivirus that you have which could prevent this, but this does not mean that it's foolproof.
I'll touch on that. Let me first plug in the USB
Charging.
cable.
So I need to charge my phone.
Yes.
Who has a iPhone charger? Anybody?
I do.
This could be anywhere. It could be in a restaurant. It could be.
Or you could have bought it off the shelf, right? From a non-authorized dealer.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, let me plug the charging cable now in the machine.
The other one.
Yeah, the other slot. Let me remove this one. And let me close the previous one. Okay, now. Let me plug in the charging cable now. There it goes. It goes in the machine. And let's hang on for a few seconds.
So the cable is nothing is plugged yet, but you've just plugged it.
Yeah, I could be charging a phone with this, but while I'm charging my phone, there you go. You are being hacked by this charging cable.
Yeah,
in a real attack, you will not see the screen again.
Yeah.
Right? So similarly, like I said, normal USB, normal charging cable, bought from unauthorized dealers or found somewhere, or somebody's willingly giving it to you.
Yeah.
Be aware.
Anywhere. You
right?
could be anywhere. Just ask. And these cables have been programmed for unsuspecting victims to just plug in their phones.
That's it.
And you probably leave the phone charging for 30 minutes or 1 hour, wherever you are, and
all your data has been
leaked to someone who's programmed this cable out of that computer. But would this work just being plugged into a computer? If I plug it to a charging outlet, it works.
So then it will not attack your PC. It's going to attack the phone that's connected on the other end.
And your phone is connected to the internet anyway, so it just opens the connection to the bad guy.
Yeah.
So
like you mentioned, right? So people ask, I have an antivirus software. Yes, that's good. That's like basic prevention. But these things evolve, right? All these things evolve. So there might be a new, of course, I can reprogram the software on it so that the antivirus doesn't catch it. Don't do it in the first place, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is what we have seen, right? In airports, right? You have this charging cable plugged in there, which you never know who's actually monitoring.
Wasn't me.
Right?
Because some of them actually allow you to put a cable there.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, they would already have a cable there connected, wherein different types of cables for iOS, for different sets of Android phones, and you just go and plug your phone. So that's something we need to be careful about. Instead, carry your own standard chargers, or use a battery backups.
Or use mine.
Yeah.
It may sound like a naive question, but if I do see an empty, should I be also scared about charging ports too, or should I only be scared about the cables? So if I have my own cable for the phone and I want to plug it somewhere, do I need to be worried about is this charging port on the wall socket?
Yeah, it could be, right? Because wherever this USB is going, the other end has to be trusted by you. Right?
Yeah.
If you don't trust it, but like we said, right? If you follow basic hygiene, like now your apps and all have permissions disabled and your security settings are good, you run the basic antivirus and you have not run administrator privileges, you are not rooted from a mobile perspective, you are not rooted your phone or jailbroken your phone. It's the risk is much lower.
Yeah, good. So it's pertinent to talk about one of the questions that's come up here on shopping online. With more people not going out due to the current situation, there's going to be a lot of online shopping. What kind of tips should we be giving out to our audience as they use either their debit cards or their credit cards online? What should they be looking out for as they shop online on these multiple platforms and multiple websites? Dinesh?
I think, look, one thing is whenever you are using your card information on an online platform, I mean, make sure that it's application or website which is trusted by you. Just don't visit any random website and start entering your card information, right? I mean, if you want to do a shopping from whichever, I mean, it should be a known apps or a known websites where you typically shop and which are trusted ones. You can definitely use it. The other practice that our customers can take is probably use these low limit cards for online shopping. So you can have a limit of, for example, say 1,000, which obviously you can manage, right? I mean, it could be 1,000 or 2,000, so that you are not exposed to a bigger limit typically which you have.
We have prepaid cards like the web shopper cards.
Web shopper cards are there, prepaid cards are also there. So I mean, we should go for these kind of cards or use those cards which has a lower limits for online shopping.
Okay, good. What about apps? So if you go to the App Store, the Google Play Store, you see many of the shopping sites having apps on them. Once they're on the stores, are they safe for me to download on my phone and do transactions there? So now I'm not talking about website now. I'm talking about apps that are online, right? That I know that they have websites, but I still see their apps. Are there any kind of precautionary measures I should be taking before inserting my card details on apps, shopping site apps?
So as I said, right, I mean, what Amrut also mentioned earlier, right, I mean, we have to follow basic hygiene. So whenever we are downloading any app, make sure that the app is trusted, right? I mean, it is verified, it comes from a verified account, its rating is higher, it's tried and tested by multiple users, there's no complaint. So typically the rating would be like, if 4+ is there, but fail it is okay and trusted app. So just don't download any random app. And start using or link your debit card or a credit card with those apps.
So you see that verified tick when you go to these Play Stores. That verified tick shows that a lot of people have been using it and they have not seen anything bad happening because of it.
And it has a rating of, I think, 3.5.
It's like Dinesh mentioned, 4+. Of course, you could have a similar looking app, but you'll never see that verified tick there. So you will watch out for that too when you download apps.
Okay. So as you shop online and as you make deliveries, be wary of that. Someone is asking Sani on Avni on LinkedIn. Let me try and make sense of this question. What about soft OTPs, hard OTP, mobile signature certificates as a second factor? I think as Dinesh has mentioned, second factor is always something outside of what you know. So hard OTP, soft OTP,
So this is exactly right. I mean, the smart pass is a soft OTP, right?
Yeah.
It's a SDK which is on your phone, which is which generates a software token.
Yeah.
Typically, back in days, you used to have this hardware RSA token and other hardware tokens.
But they're still available, right?
Yeah, they are still available, but obviously it was inconvenient. You have to carry those
it around.
and you will lose them here and there. But the phone now has become a single point of single point for you to access everything. So that's why these software-based OTP solutions came into the picture. Now smart pass is exactly the same thing. I mean, we have a software which can generate an OTPs in real time, and we can authenticate our customers.
Yeah.
You don't leave house without your phone, right? You leave house without your hard token. But the question is relevant because all these three are again a second factor. You could do it via soft token on a mobile device, hard token, which is like a RSA thing that you carry around, or a certificate-based authentication, which is a second factor.
Yeah.
So apart from username and password, it could be a certificate also as a second factor. So these are all second factor authentications.
Yeah. Okay. All right. One more question on websites. How do I identify a verified website? HTTPS, SSL. Can we talk a bit about HTTPS and how it's a valid website or not?
Yeah, good question. So, like Dinesh mentioned earlier, you go type. So if I'm going to go, like you mentioned, online shopping, I wouldn't go to, somebody might be taking me to nooni.com, right? It could be a fake one.
Yeah.
You go type www.noon.com, right?
Yeah.
And then once that goes in, typically these sites now, all sites across the internet have SSL, HTTPS. Although I didn't put HTTPS there, it should automatically take me to HTTPS site. And then the bar should turn green if you're using IE, Internet Explorer. Or if you're using a Chrome browser, then you'll see a green tag on the side, top left corner. That just shows that the site that you have now typed is actually secured, and the communication between yourself and the site is encrypted.
And that's what we actually advise for those who use our online banking.
Yes, for our Emirates NBD online applications, same way.
To actually type it in
Absolutely.
themselves.
Go to login.emiratesnbd.com, type it yourself.
Okay, right. One more question. So this is on passwords again. Is it safe to share passwords for non-sensitive sites? So when you say non-sensitive sites, so I'll give you an example. I have maybe a card, a ride-hailing app. I have a food delivery 1 app, food delivery 2 app. You know all the food delivery that we have here, and then I have a couple of them. They are non-sensitive. Maybe they just deliver food. Why should I not use the same passwords instead of using? I know you mentioned password manager, but what exactly is the risk there, even if my bank account is not linked there?
But it is linked, right? So today, if you're talking about a food delivery app, they're not going to deliver food for you for free. You're not the king of some place. You have to put in your credit debit card numbers in there and save it.
Even if you cash on delivery.
Yeah, even if you don't save it. Now somebody could just rake up a big bill in your name. And gently, right? Good hygiene. Don't give away your passwords because you could have reused that same passwords on a few other sites which you probably don't remember. And then now somebody knows, or it could also be the fact that now somebody knows the way you put your passwords. So for example, you would say Richard and with your birth date. Then you would keep Richard with your wife's birth date. Right? So now somebody can guess, oh, now the next one would be Richard with his son's birthday.
But this is dependent on those sites being compromised. Or those apps.
Now I could start guessing those passwords, right, on your behalf. So I can also enable somebody to start guessing your passwords. So basic hygiene, do not give away passwords. Right? It's like your secret which should stay with you and within you.
Okay. And just to add on to it, what Amrut's mentioned, right? I mean, obviously, we shouldn't be sharing our password, be it for non-sensitive applications or sensitive application wherein you are banking credentials and all, right? One more hygiene that you should follow, all customers should follow, is keep separate passwords. You should never use the password that you are using for your banking applications or for your key email accounts with your other applications that you randomly use for various other things, for the shopping or various other things, the random app, because everything requires a password in these days. So at least practice this hygiene, wherein you keep a separate password for the banking application, keep a separate password for your email accounts, which are your recovery accounts and all, and obviously enable two-factor authentication where possible, whichever platform provides you that.
Yep. Okay. We'll take one more question before we wrap this up from Atida Ali. It's similar to the question we already answered. How can we decide that this website is trusted for online shopping or not? I'm thinking you probably bumped into a website that sells maybe, I don't know, sneakers. Maybe you typed in sneakers on Google, and then a few minutes later all the ads on the right are on the top of a website are showing you sneakers that you like. How do I know that this is a trusted site for online shopping? It's not one of the well-known names, right, that sell sneakers. It's probably maybe a sneaker company outside the country, maybe somewhere else across. How do I know? How can I trust? Do I take precautions or do I go ahead?
Look, one thing is, I mean, obviously looking at whether this is a legitimate site in terms of, or is it a fake website. So you go for to check whether the certificate is there, which Amru just mentioned, right? Apart from that, okay, even if it has a certificate which shows that,
when you say certificate, you mean HTTPS,
HTTPS,
right?
certificate. Yeah, exactly. So if that is there, but now you want to know whether, again, is it a, some just random website which is probably selling fake stuff. I think you can rely on reviews, and obviously before you buy something, you obviously look at the different reviews from different people. So I think you should do the same thing for the websites as well.
Like I said, right, you go shop on Noon. Why would you go shop on Noonie, which must be something really new and nobody's ever tried and tested it, and then you might pay, they might be genuine, but they don't send you the product. The loss is again yours.
Yeah, the loss is yours.
So use those known, reputed sites for doing your online shopping, right?
Yeah. Lastly, please, very quickly, 30 seconds. If you've been a victim, you're a customer of Emirates NBD, and you're a victim of either phishing or fraud, what's the first thing you should do, and what's the procedure to go about this? 30 seconds, please.
So call up the bank, report it. We have a 24/7 number. Call up the bank, report that you have seen something suspicious. You might not be a victim till then. Even if it's just suspicious, call the bank, report it. The other way is contact the call center by email, right? So there is an email address.
We'll put the email there at the end of the session.
So contact via email address or via phone. Let the bank know that you have seen something suspicious, even though it's not materialized into a fraud.
Yeah. Great. So you've heard all we've said about securing your account and protecting yourself. We'll continue with this awareness campaign as the year goes on, and we want to ensure that our customers are happy, our customers are safe, and they continue to bank in a secure and safe environment. Thank you all for tuning in, all our viewers, for all the questions that you sent in. Please share this video, follow us on all the social media platforms, you can keep commenting as well. Our representatives will get back to you on this topic, and also be secure, be safe, and be cyber aware. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.